You're still gonna hit them.
This is why she shouldn't play with golf balls.
Oh God.
Jesus. Yeah, that'll keep her busy. Okay.
Hi.
So
We're
hi.
back
We are back.
with another one.
Yeah, with another story that we thought we would share with you that happened to us last week.
Yeah.
And we did a little sort of bloggy post about this on our Facebook page, so you might have read that already.
Yeah.
But we thought we'd bring you just a more in-depth, full story.
Yes.
Good girl, Bobby.
So what had happened is we were going to go camping in Sark for a friend's birthday. And Sark is a neighbouring island, which is pretty beautiful. And we had work on the Friday night. So I set the alarm, thinking Jack secondized it, which he was supposed to secondize it, because that's what he usually does.
Secondized it?
Yes.
You've made up a whole term for this.
Second-eyes it. So I set the alarm because we were supposed to get the boat at 9. We were supposed to be there at 9:30. And we woke up the next morning with a phone call from one of our mates.
Yeah, so one of our mates called us. So we were supposed to be, the boat leaves at 10 a.m. We were supposed to be there half an hour before that, so at 9:30. And we, because it's us, hadn't packed anything or prepared anything at all. And we set an alarm for 8:30 in the morning so that we could get up and sort of lazily just get a few bits together, because it's only a one-night camp. We didn't need much, and just pull some bits together and then get down to the boat for 9:30.
Yeah.
And
Most people would be prepared, but yeah.
And we were joking that we might even be able to fit in a nice breakfast in that time, in that hour. We're really bad at timekeeping, by the way.
Very
Drop
bad.
it. Good girl, Bobby.
But we make
Bobby,
it work.
Drop. Good girl. Shh, 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 shh.
So anyways, we woke up with a phone call from our friend asking us where we were. So we answered the question still in bed asleep, thinking that they were asking something really silly. Like, of course we'd be in bed. They're like, why aren't you here? And we looked at the time and lo and behold, we were late.
It was 9:30.
It was 9:30.
We were supposed to be
The boat was packed. Everybody was on it. We were missing it. And yeah, so we got on the, so we were late, rushing around, got there, saw the boat pull away, had to buy new tickets to get the later boat. And as Jack said, we decided to then, well, we then decided to actually have a full breakfast. So proper breakfast.
Yeah.
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 Which,
So we had, what was it, like an hour and 45 minutes
Till
before
the next boat. Yeah, so plenty of time.
And all we really needed to do was go and buy some beer.
Yes.
And what we should have done is probably just go home and make sure that we've actually packed
everything.
some stuff.
But we didn't do that.
Because we didn't pack anything. We had a couple of sleeping bags and a tent is pretty much all we took.
Yes. No change of clothes and nothing.
Yeah.
But breakfast was on our mind. That was the most important thing, and that's all we could think of at the time. So we went and we sat down and had breakfast. But I just felt really awkward, and I suppose there was this bad smell in the air, you know, like a fart. But it wasn't a fart. It was just emotions, and I was feeling a little bit, so I watched earlier that week a podcast, well, I listened to the podcast, watched the YouTube video of Matthew Hussey on the Lewis Hose show, and he basically talks about the flower and the gardener, and how in a relationship there's the flower and you alternate, you take turns being the flower and the gardener. So the gardener provides support, encouragement, and is there for the flower. And recently what I felt like, I felt that I was the gardener and I was the gardener a lot of the time, and Jack was the flower. And I felt like I was I felt like I wanted to be the flower and needed a little bit of just some tender love and care, really. And just, yeah, some encouragement and some support and those sort of things.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was only because Jack was focusing on the dream and the goal and the journey and this YouTube and everything else that we're doing. So to really sort out a life for us, but it didn't, yes, because I was constantly there tending, trying to make sure he was okay, and that, I don't know, I just, yeah, felt a little bit like I just needed a little bit of something, just not being taken for granted, really, is what I was trying to get at. This was quite unique, because usually I don't talk about my feelings in the slightest. Usually, well, what happened on the Friday night, which was I was starting to just be a bit distant, refuse to look at Jack all evening.
Yeah.
At the bar. So the only time we get to spend together, I'm just like, I'm not looking at him. Because, yeah, I felt that way, and usually I just feel uncomfortable to talk about things like that. But Jack sometimes just sees straight through me, and a lot of the time, so so I had to say something, and I didn't want to go on this weekend trip without dealing with these emotions, because it was making me not behave myself, where I wasn't fully there. I was constantly just feeling a little bit just withdrawn, really, and yeah, I wanted to actually have a good time and be back to how we were.
Yeah, I think especially because we were going to be with like 6 other people.
Yes.
Yeah, like 3 other couples
And
some of our close friends. And we didn't want to bring any of that. And also neither of us
and
can
we were
fake
drinking.
things like that.
We didn't end up drinking at all, but if I did drink, then it's just not a healthy way to start to go to this thing. It's just not a healthy way of approaching the situation. So yeah.
Yeah, I think like neither of us are very good at talking about our emotions, but neither of us are very good at hiding them either.
No.
So
it's really weird for us.
When, yeah,
we
like
don't talk, but we just
it's
get
quite clear, and we both know each other well enough to know when even something minor is going on and on the other person's mind.
Yes. And
each of us knows that we need to coax it out of the other one, because neither of us are particularly willing to talk about.
That's true.
To just put it out there. But this time you kind of were.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know how I brought it up. I was just like, so I want to talk to you about something. Have you heard of the flower and the gardener?
Yeah.
Oh, right now.
But then, yeah, I mean, you told me about all of this stuff, and I just...
To be fair, I think what made me actually say it was because, well, firstly, I knew I couldn't hide it, and secondly, I just didn't want it to get to a level where this massive thing just started building, like something so small ended up being a mountain between us where we couldn't come back from it. I just wanted to deal with the issue at that moment, and we were by ourselves, so us missing the boat was the best thing, really.
Yeah, it was like
to
the
allow
universe
us time to
gave
talk.
us something. But yeah, and I completely agree with that, because when there's anything like learning from past relationships and moving forward, and where we are in our lives now and what we want to achieve and how we want to grow, a lot of that involves our relationship and actually working on a proper relationship. And that, of course, means communication. We both said it hundreds of times. We both are more than aware that communication is the key to a good relationship. Open, honesty, and being able to grow together.
Yes.
We know is really important. And
communication is not our strongest.
And it's not our strongest suit, so we really have to work on it every
Yes.
time. And that's why this felt
It
like a
is.
breakthrough, because she explained how she was feeling, and in such a way that I could really understand it, but also it made me really sad. Like
Yes.
I was really upset that I sort of hadn't thought about it that way,
But
and I
as
hadn't
you said-
particularly considered your needs, really.
No.
And I had just been there on my ups and downs, trying to deal with whatever we're trying to deal with in our sort of business, trying to
Yes.
move forward, and having all of these emotions of moving up and down. And because we don't spend much time together,
No.
we're working on it sort of separately and not together most of the time,
So it does make it very
which is really
difficult.
hard. So I kind of felt like I was feeling all of these things by myself, and sort of not even really realizing that she was there, gardening me, and just nurturing me and making sure I was okay and picking me up when I was down. And I hadn't thought about sort of reciprocating that, or how she might be feeling down and might need some looking after or anything like that. And that made me really sad. I was really upset with myself that because this relationship means so much to me, and the fact that I'd taken it for granted in all of that time, thinking that like we have a really solid, secure
That's what I was
relationship.
just going to say, as you said.
And because I felt that, you can kind of easily just not look at it and think that this is where I need to put my mind and my effort
Yes.
on working on this, and our relationship is fine, so I can forget about that. But that's actually not true at all.
Yes.
You have to work on these relationships every single day as
And
well.
I think that's
no matter
where a lot
how
of things go
good.
wrong, is because most people feel undervalued and underappreciated, but really it is purely because, as Jack said it, I just thought, yeah, that's because people do think my relationship's safe, that person's safe, they're there, I can now focus all of my attention, all of my time on the business, and that person will still be there. So yeah, it was quite good to have the talk, and we actually did nearly miss the next boat. An hour and 45 minutes was not enough time.
Yeah, because we was talking so much about it.
Yeah.
It really did feel like a breakthrough, because
Yes.
it helped me learn things about myself and realize where I want to grow and where I need to grow. That bird is having
annoying.
a really bad time up there.
Yes, I agree. I think it was just the best time going. Can we throw the golf ball in there?
Oh my god, I think he's sick.
That bird does not sound healthy.
He pops.
Poppy, get the bird. Get the bird. Get the bird.
There he goes. Oh, no, just into a new tree.
Okay. So, safe to say, we talked about all these emotions, nearly missed the next boat, which was just hilarious because Jack was running to get the beer, then he was running back, and then I was running to the car to get the coats because I forgot our coats. We still didn't have a change of clothes or anything else to bear in mind, but the coats were important, and beer. We got to Sark, didn't drink anything, didn't literally.
Well, we did. We drank quite a lot. Well, we
We
drank a
drank
bit.
2 beers, and then he
had
drank 2 beers, and then he went to bed at 9. 9 o'clock. Oh, I drank a lot. You didn't.
We did drink quite a lot. We had a beer before we even left Guernsey, and then we sat down and we had 2 pints at the pub as soon as we got to Herm.
And
Then
then
we
you
went and
had-
had lunch and we had another one. Then we went to the campsite and we had another one.
No,
then we went
didn't.
and had
We
dinner
only
and we had
the
another
one. At the campsite.
Yeah.
Only one.
Yeah, that's what I said. One at the campsite, and then
We
we went
didn't
to
have
dinner
another
and had
one.
another one.
You didn't have I had water.
I did.
So you had 5, and then you went to bed at 9.
We all went to bed at 9.
You went to bed at 9. You fell asleep at 9.
Okay.
To be fair, we all went to bed at 9. But yeah, it was a fun trip, and we were back to our old selves. of pushing each other into poo bins. Yeah, you were trying to push me in the poo. Don't act like you're so innocent.
Don't remember that. It's usually bushes.
You were pushing me into bushes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good trip.
But yeah, it's kind of like yeah, I mean, it sort of worked out perfectly where we really realised what was important, which was each other,
Yeah.
and we learned that.
Because we would have just gone and both felt this
because we were
awkwardness.
able to talk it through and
Jack knowing
understand
that's
how
up.
each other felt,
Yeah.
and we can acknowledge it and then work on it. And what's really important is each other, and not the change of clothes or anything like that. We
It's
didn't need
true.
any of that, and we had a really great short weekend away
I agree.
with
completely.
no change of clothes, no
No
supplies,
toothbrushes.
no toothbrushes, like nothing. But we had an amazing time because we didn't need any of that, because we
sorted us out.
sorted us out, exactly.
Yeah. And it was one of the first times that we actually had like the whole Friday and Saturday. No, Saturday.
Saturday and Sunday
Saturday
together.
and Sunday together. So that was quite nice, actually.
And it was
Without
quite
work.
nice. Hey pups. Hey
It
puppy.
came at the perfect
Puppy.
time. Let's say that. We would have been fine otherwise, but still.
You still not found your ball, Pop?
Cool.
Guess we'd better help Poppy find her ball.
Yeah, let's do it. Jack, go in the bush. I think it's there.
I don't.
I think
I
it's
threw
there.
it over there somewhere.
I think it's
Okay, come on, let's go. Stop trying to put me in the bush.
Go, Bobby. I'm trying to get you. She just put me through a spider's web.
Here we go. The attack of the killer Frodo.
Oh, he's just like, I just want you on my face.
Now he's on camera.